Alright guys, it's time for an update. Over Outlands Aspect Mastery System. We've done this video twice before, I believe, but as Outlands always does, they've updated it.
Upgrades.
With that though guys, today we're gonna go in depth over this thing, breaking down each aspect and some of the cool things that you can do with it. So guys, sit back, grab yourself a beer, and let's talk about it. Alright, so first off, each aspect is unlocked by collecting 2 distillations, which are created by a GM alchemist, by fusing a bottle with an extract. Now, extracts are dropped randomly by monsters in Outlands. You can also buy them from the buy or sell channel in the Outlands Discord, or the almost 3,000 member Pwn Star Gaming Discord. A neat trick is you can actually search right here to find the aspect materials you're looking for. Also, there are various web-based buy/sell avenues. Check the description below for some of those links. You'll also need 4 aspect cores of the same aspect type, which can be acquired the same way as the extracts, and finally, 1 aspect kit. An aspect kit can be created by a crafter with 100 skill using 1 master crafting diagram. These are also dropped by random monsters. And either 250 boards if you're a carpenter, 250 ingots for a smith, 250 leather if you're a tailor, or 500 skulls if you're a scribe. Now, a common misconception is thinking that you'll actually need to unlock the aspect multiple times. 1 for armor, 1 for weapon, and 1 for the book. You actually just unlock it once, and you're able to then use it on all 3. Once it's unlocked, you'll need arcane charges. This essentially acts as fuel for your aspect, draining as you do damage to your enemies. To get arcane charges, you simply just identify magic items and recycle them. You recycle them with a magic item recycler from the prep vendor, or you could use any crafting kit to do so, no skill required. You will need the item ID skill or an item ID wand made by a carpenter though to ID the item. Okay, I think that's the basics of the materials needed for aspects, so as far as the aspects themselves, let's get into it. Now, let me preface this by saying all armors will give a scaling armor rating bonus based on aspect level. All books will give mana refund chance, damage bonus, and aspect special chance, and all weapons will give accuracy bonus, tactics bonus, and aspect special chance. So as we go over these, just assume those things for all of them. Starting out with air armor. Air armor helps with how fast you swing your weapon as well as increased mana regeneration. Has a nice damage resistance for 5 seconds after you deal damage, and also helps you from avoiding movement effects, kind of like a hinder from the Nogalids in Cavernam. The aspect ability that procs randomly for book or weapon is Whirlwind. Now this does an AoE and reduces all enemies' defense skill. This aspect is especially popular for Dexers, and the cost per item shows it. Artisan armor gives a boost of armor if wearing crafted armor. You can also use a repair kit on yourself and friends to increase their melee damage. Mostly this aspect is used by crafters for its exceptional crafting chance bonus. The weapon proc is Fortify, which gives a strong boost to both melee damage bonus and physical damage resistance for 2 minutes. To not only yourself, but your friends nearby as well, making this great for group play and boss fights. There's one thing of note, this aspect can be increased by killing monsters as well as crafting items. Moving on to blood aspect. This aspect armor gives you a chance to inflict bleeds on creatures with melee weapons or spells. It'll also do an increased amount of damage to creatures below 50% hit points, making it very popular during bosses for people to often switch to blood when the boss reaches that threshold of hit points. It is also nice in the fact that it increases all of your stats based on aspect level. At tier 15, it actually gives you 35 more strength, 35 more dexterity, and 35 more intelligence. The proc called Ravage will inflict a strong bleed to all creatures within a 4-tile radius. Command aspect is a crowd favorite for anyone commanding pets to do their bidding. This aspect increases both the damage of your pets as well as the damage resistance. It also is nice to use when leveling pets as a tamer, as it gives your pets an experience bonus and an increased chance to tame. The proc is called Inspiration. It heals your pets to full and gives them a nice damage increase for 30 seconds. Now, this ability is able to stack 2 times. Note that the damage increase is halved if you're using undead followers. Sorry, Necros, but Necros fear not. Death is one of those really good aspects that isn't the best, so it's extremely cheap. This is great for new Necros, giving an increase in your effective necromancy skill, which means more unholy symbols, and 2 power lines that will return unholy symbols for you. The proc is called Decay, and that does a very large damage over time for 20 seconds, and also keeps your pets from decaying for 30 seconds. Discipline aspect. Now this is such a fun aspect, especially for monks and sword masters. The armor will increase the damage of your weapon specials. It also increases your melee damage when you use mana. So make sure you have your codex stance set to auto renew in order to continue using mana. Also, when you proc your finisher, there's a chance it will ignore the cooldown, allowing you to proc a finisher again and again. The weapon proc Iron Will does a decent direct damage attack, and it also increases your attack and damage resistance for 30 seconds. This is able to stack twice. Let's talk about Earth aspect. Earth aspect. That's right. This undervalued bad boy packs a mean punch and is the master of taking physical damage as well as dealing beefy hits, with a chance to increase melee damage by 225%. Large damage resistance as long as your hit points is over 33%. Be careful if it goes under there. And another damage resistance boost as long, once again, as long as you haven't moved in 3 seconds. It becomes very difficult to die to physical damage, that's for sure. Unless, of course, you move or your hit points drop under 33%. Just be careful. The proc Earth Hands does an AoE damage and it reduces enemies' armor for 30 seconds. All right, Eldritch aspect. Now, this aspect is amazing if you want to really utilize your spell damage or even summons. It gives a spell damage bonus for every 20 mana spent. It also increases your mana refund chance cap the higher the aspect level. It increases your effective spirit speak skill, which means stronger summons, as well as your inscription skill, which means much stronger spells if cast from scrolls. The proc is called Energy Surge. This does an AoE damage and creates a mana wall nearby that provides a decent amount of mana based, once again, on aspect level. Fire aspect is such a fun aspect for Dexers and mages alike. This hot mama is great for Dexers and mages alike. Damage done causes flame strikes to the target, which gives great visual satisfaction. Also, damage you take is reflected back to the enemy. Field damage is reduced as well, so fear not standing in the fire fields. Fire Nova is the aspect proc, which is just a beautiful animation of pure destruction. Alright, Fortune. Fortune is a hot topic lately. This aspect does what the title says. It gives fortune, right? Great for group play, as it increases the gold and loot item chance for your kills. And it also gives you great experience bonus. It's not all shinies though, as it does give you a chance for a 50% damage increase. The proc Windfall is a giant treasure chest falling from the sky, doing damage to all targets in the area and increasing their gold loot. Again, this is great specifically for group play. Now, Gadget was recently introduced with the Trapper rework. This aspect is great as it increases the damage of your traps. It reduces the cooldowns of the traps and also gives you a nice damage resist for 10 seconds after you detonate a trap. The proc Innovation will increase the base damage of your next trap by a very large amount. Harvest is very hot right now. This aspect is both the Gatherer and Lockpicker's aspect of choice, namely due to its ability to double. Yeah, I said double, that's right. The amount of yield from harvesting or loot in a chest. It gives a damage resist for a minute after harvesting or successfully picking a chest. The proc Nature Lash roots monsters in place for a few seconds and it does a nice little AoE damage too. Holy aspect. This aspect I call the snowball aspect. It's not very strong in the first probably 7 or 8 tiers, but after that, it's really a powerhouse and it just snowballs in power. It gives a chivalry skill bonus, increasing your holy symbols and making the ability stronger. It has a chance to give you holy symbols every second and increases your melee damage and damage resistance per symbol spent. The proc Judgment is awesome too, as it just does this big AoE damage to enemies around you, but not only that, it heals up to 10 friendly targets as well. Alright, Lyric Aspect. Man, Lyric Aspect is great. It's for all the bards out there. Don't sleep on the damage bonus to barded targets. If a target is barded, your damage will be substantially increased. The buffs you give out will be much stronger as well due to the bonus up to song effectiveness. Not only that, but your effective barding skills increased as well, making it easier to bard targets that you normally may not be able to. The proc Cacophony is an AoE damage that prevents those targets from having barding breaks for a few seconds, and it increases with aspect level. Poison is for all the poisoners out there. Similar to Lyric for bards, don't sleep on the damage bonus to poison targets, as your damage to poison targets is substantially increased. It gives you a chance to resolve an additional poison tick. It gives effective skill to both poisoning and taste ID, so increasing the damage your poison does as well as boosting the benefits from food. The proc Toxicity does a nice AoE damage as well as resolve additional poison ticks of the affected creatures. Shadow Aspect is kind of a no-brainer for the backstabber and muggers out there. It's also a crowd favorite for thieves. This aspect gives an accuracy, damage, and damage resist bonus on backstab for 10 seconds. It also gives you a chance to restore 5 health on stealth steps, which is very helpful with the limited healing templates. Enjoy bonus stealth steps based on your aspect level too. The proc Vanish puts you back into stealth and grants you more stealth steps as well as increased damage of your next backstab. Alright, let's talk about Void. Now Void is my personal favorite aspect of all. It's just very versatile. It works with any template and is my personal favorite armor for Red Hand Thief. Auto stats restoration is amazing, giving you free heals, stamina refresher, and mana regain after a duration. It gives you a chance to ignore armor and the creatures resist or take a 15 damage bonus. It also gives you effective parrying and magic resist skill. Now the proc Doom Dragon is very strong, but it is delayed of a direct damage spell that hits the target after 10 seconds has passed. War Aspect is the PvP aspect. You can only gain this by participating in PvP events like Town Struggles or Dungeon Flashpoints. In PvM, it gives a chance every second to gain 2 hit points, 2 stamina, and 1 mana. It gives a flat melee / spell damage bonus and also a strong damage resistance bonus. The proc Warcry increases all damage for the next minute, and it can actually stack twice. And lastly, Water Aspect. This aspect gives you more of a chance to get off your weapon specials and charge spells. It also is great for a healer character as it gives a bonus to healing dealt and received. Enjoy better potions with the effective alchemy skill bonus. The proc Ice Storm is an AoE damage ability that also slows melee attacks and spell casting based on aspect tier level. One thing to keep in mind, mixing aspects is a very common thing. Perhaps I like using fire armor to proc flame strikes and eldritch weapon to really manipulate the flame strikes into going full throttle. Maybe I'll go air armor to increase my melee swing speed and artisan weapon to increase the damage my melee damage does. Maybe, void armor for the mana regain and eldritch book for the mana well, giving me maximum mana potential. The options are vast and just one piece of player customization that make Outlands so much fun. Comment below some of your favorite combinations and how you utilize them. Keep in mind though, your experience will be split to both aspects used that can hinder your experience gain and could potentially increase cost to level your aspect. And there you have it, folk. The complete aspect mastery system. Guys, shout out to Outlands for coming up with such a great system. It's really a lot of fun, and I appreciate all the work that is behind the scenes when it comes to trying to balance these things, coming up with new things, and just always pushing the envelope when it comes to, shard development and all the super awesome updates. Shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, and you for liking this video, as it helps with discoverability for myself and UO Outlands in general as well. Make sure and come by the live streams most evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. Guys, do me a favor, comment below, let me know some future videos that you'd like to see me cover, as I really like doing videos that you guys ask for. I'll see you next time. Pwn Star Gaming out.